Hello, you are tuned in to Conversations with the Candidates. My name is Kevin Tocci and I will be your host for this segment. Conversations with the Candidates is a show that is designed to get you up to speed with folks who are running for various boards and committees in the two towns that we provide service for, Whitman and Hanson. Today we are going to talk about the town of Hanson and the Water Commissioner race. Joining me for this conversation is a gentleman who has served multiple terms on the Water Commission and is looking for your vote come May 17th. We have Mr. Don Howard who is here. Mr. Howard, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you.
Now you may recognize Don and go, wait, I know him. I know he's a Water Commissioner, but did he not also serve as a select board member or selectman at that time? Yes, he did. He served multiple terms as that. Let's talk a little bit about water and talk about how you got involved with water. Well, what is it about the water situation with the town's water that is something that goes way, way back in your history?
No, it started off back when I got out of high school. Earl Simmons in Hanover was looking for a truck driver, and my best friend Melvin was, his mother was Earl's wife, sister. And so that when I got introduced to Simmy, he says, well, I'd like to go to work for me, which I did. And I worked the fall of 1956, and then he hired me back in 1957. That's when I started working for him, and I was there for 10 years. Well, in that 10-year period, he had a small little backhoe, and at that time there wasn't many backhoes in the area. And I spent a lot of time driving all over Plymouth County. It was a good thing he had a trailer for the tractor and backhoe, but because it was a time that everybody was wanting 8-foot holes dug in the ground to check for a water table. And then also next to it or near where the leaching fields were going to be put in, or the cesspools, they wanted to take the perk tests in that area to find out how the drainage is. And I was very busy for roughly 10 years working with Earl, and I've been all over Plymouth County. It's just one of those things. And then I came up and I changed jobs.
Well, you're also somebody who was very innovative even at a young age or at a certain time, where you actually built a couple of devices to be able to check stuff. And I think you have a couple of items here that you have.
In fact, back when I was on the Board of Health for, I don't know, 6 or so years, I made this the first year I was there. And what you do is you dig a hole about 18 inches deep, put this in it, and then fill up the water so it hits the top line like that.
Yep.
And then you, it's supposed to soak in there for at least 20 minutes in the water.
Yeah.
You're supposed to keep the level at this here. And at the end of that time, you time it how it drops 3 inches. And after you get that time, you divide it by 3. You divide 3 into the time that it takes to drop.
Sure.
And it gives you the perk time that the water runs into the ground.
Now, is there another device that you have also?
Well, this one here, I made 3 years ago, and it's a simpler form, but it's one that I think could be used. I've worked it with water, but this area here is 3 inches. And there's a screen in here and a screen in here, so you can fill the sand, put the sand in here and compact it. And then you fill up this with water, and you time the water it takes to run through the sand, and you watch it, and when it comes from here up to here, that's 3 inches. It gives you your perk. Okay. But I can't find the other cover this morning, but I made it reversible so that you can take it like this after the water's here.
And then flip it.
Tip it over and put a cover on this quick before the water gets out, and with another cover like this one, and let the water run back through,
To check it.
and you can check the time again. And
Very innovative.
I've only used it once on water. I haven't used it on sand or anything. But that's what I've done because I'm interested in the perks of the land, no matter where I am, I guess.
Okay.
And because
What is perk?
it's not.
For folks who don't know.
Well, the perk is the time it takes for water to run through the dirt. And the engineers that does your engineering for you on your lots that you buy a home, they always do these perks to find out whether or not that soil is suitable to put in a sewage system.
Okay.
That's all it's for, basically.
You have served for the Water Commission for many years, multiple terms. What first motivated you to get involved with the Water Commission, and what keeps you coming back?
Well, the Hanover, I worked in Hanover for 29 and a half years. And Hanover has more than one tank. They had two when I first started there. And to do a proper flushing, I worked, in fact, Jack Hoadley worked with me in Hanover at the time. And to do a proper flushing, you should have two water tanks, because one of them you can set up and open and close gates so that you're only going to flush a certain section of the town, but you can flush that line with one tank while the other tank is still supplying water to every resident in the town.
What would you say are some of the some accomplishments or changes that during your tenure that you're probably most proud of, that you have been instrumental in helping the town move forward when it comes to its water needs?
Well, I'm just interested in water basically all my life, and I've taken perk tests all over the place. In fact, I dug a reservoir out in Plymouth, down in next to the golf course down there, and I used the wooden one to do the testing. But what I did was I dug out the reservoir, and I had about 10 feet of water in it. So I went off to the side and I cleared off an area so it was about 2 inches above the water. Then I dug myself a hole in it and I bailed out the water and put my machine in it. And then I timed it to see how fast the water ran through the ground to come back in there for 3 inches and the time. And it comes out pretty much the same.
What made you decide to run for yet another term? What is it?
Right now, I think Hanson needs another water tank for one thing. And there's a lot of pipe cleaning and flushing that they can do, but it's hard to do it, like I say, with one water tank. And I don't want them to get caught up like some of the other towns, because manganese and iron is one of the first things that browns up the water. And we have a brand new well over here off of East Washington Street on Old Pine Drive that the well is in the ground. It's a very good well. It'll produce a lot of water, and it's still sitting there. And I don't know why we haven't gone as far as we have to put in the pipe from the well up, and we've got to make a treatment plant, because the state now wants us to take out all the manganese and iron before it goes into the system. Plus, they've got new things that they add every other month, I think. But anyway, that's basically what I want to get going now. Is I want to get that well going and a treatment plant built so that we'll have two sources of water. The only other source we have now is in between Phillip Street, Holmes Street, West Washington Street, Franklin Street, and Main Street. It's down on the west south side of Hanson, roughly. People can see the gate there, but there's 4 wells out there, and Crystal Well is one of the main ones, and it's a good well. So what they're doing is they're mixing the water between the other 3 wells with Crystal Well, and no, we have good drinking water in Hanson.
Okay. What is the state of Hanson's water infrastructure, and what needs the most improvement? Again, you've already kind of talked about the wells. You've talked about the need for a second water tower. What else?
Well, some of the pipe that's been put in the ground should be replaced, and I don't think it ever will, to be honest with you. It's called transite. There was the pipe that was going to end the problems for everybody, and they found the asbestos in it as something that it won't burn, and you can't get rid of it. And every time you work on transite, you have to, what we do is, I think they do anyway, we did in Hanover, we break the pipe up and leave it in the ground so that you don't have to dispose of it, because it's very costly to dispose of.
Interesting. Well, so how is there a plan in place for the Water Commission to address the aging pipes or contaminants like PFAS or lead?
Again, that all involves by money. We have a lot of pipe in the ground, and I'm really pleased with the fact that a lot of the pipe is 12, 10-inch, because in Hanover there was only one main 10-inch loop in Hanover, and that's really not big enough for the town. And I'm really surprised that when they put the water in Hanson, that the pipes were so large. I do know for a fact that from between Winter Street and State Street, in the middle 70s, I believe it was, they cleaned that pipe. It's an 8-inch pipe, and right now it's it's good clean if you can flush it. And to get that flushed from all the way from the High Street, it's a long way to come down, and I don't know, it's they use a type of system that I don't really care for. I like to open up the hydrant wide open and let it run, and they don't do that. So
okay. To your knowledge, are there any capital projects or upgrades planned in the near future, in the next couple of years?
well, one main one is getting the well in operation on Old Pine Drive.
Yeah.
And that's getting quotes for the treatment plant, and of course then the pipe will have to be put in too. And we are fortunate to have one person that works with us that deals with wells, so that he has the education and knowledge of installation and hooking up everything of that nature also. We're fortunate to have John with us.
Water rates are always a concern for residents and homeowners. What's your approach to balancing infrastructure investment with the affordability for ratepayers? Because
I don't think they're too bad right now, to be honest with you. I do know, I found out that I had to use my hot water. My shoulder was messed up, and I was taking hot water shoulder baths, shall we say, and rubbing it, and it works pretty good. But I didn't realize that I was using a lot of hot water, and my water bill's high.
so let me ask you this. How does Hanson compare to neighboring towns in terms of water quality and cost? Have you had a chance to speak with other residents in neighboring towns as to their water quality and their cost?
Not recently, no, but the cost-wise, I don't think Hanson's water is it's more or less risen roughly the same cost of surrounding towns. And everybody complains about it because we used to get water cheap. Well, water is not cheap anymore. And they're going to have to find out, and they're going to have to realize that when we do raise rates, we're doing it for a purpose. It means we have to operate, and we have to do and buy products at the same time. And to do that, you have to raise the rates.
Okay. How do you feel that the Water Commission has adapted to recent state or federal environmental regulations?
I think they're going through that now. Mr. Davis here, he's keeping up with that. And he tries to keep us up involved with it when we have the meetings.
Okay. Water is a commodity that, when it comes to economic development, is very important. Are there any efforts to promote water conservation or reduce overall consumption in town? Do you hear that, whether it's from the Water Commission or from some of the other boards and committees?
I don't hear that because people realize the more water they use, they're going to pay more. And sometimes you get some people that take half an hour showers that it shows up at the end of the month on the cost of the water. But I don't think there's many people doing that. What we have now mostly is sometimes we can't afford to put out people and drive them around in the summertime to find out what people are putting up sprinklers, because nobody puts up sprinklers, you know. And sometimes somebody gets one that's too high, and we call them up, and they come in the office, and we ask them, how come this is this way, and so forth. And we found one guy took the meter right out of his house, and it was sitting on the side here, and the person that was there to read the meter took pictures of it before he touched it. And then we had him come in, and he didn't understand how the meter got taken out, but we did find him.
Good. Well, let's talk a little transparency. How does the commission ensure that there's transparency to keep the public informed about decisions, rate changes, water issues, upcoming projects?
I think Carol does an excellent job on that, the secretary, because she's on the phone most of the time, all the time in the office. And I don't think people don't really do that much calling. There's only the ones that use the water that think they get away with it, that you catch them. I mean, we had a builder doing the same thing, and we took a picture, and he couldn't understand it. I will drop it there. So
okay, but how about as far as promoting meetings or taping meetings or providing regular updates, whether it beyond those where maybe there's literature that's put out to the public? Is enough of that being done?
When I was a selectman, we taped all our meetings, and we have a camera up there, and I think the meetings should be taped. They should be run. And for some reason, they don't want to tape the meetings. When Mary Lou died, the water commissioner, her and her husband, and they made me chairman until they got another one. But I tried to put the camera up and get it running, but then I'd come back there and it'd be in the closet again. I don't know who was doing it, but I don't think that should be that way. I think we should run the camera every time there's a meeting.
So how can public outreach and education be improved moving forward?
I don't know. We've got 5 people working for us, and there's 2 laborers, I think, and one of them's got. The laborers should be getting licenses to work on water, and they also should be getting CDL license to drive a dump truck. But I think the town of Hanson, it should have been done a long time ago, because the cost of it now is extremely high, and I don't know whether or not it will be easy to do that anymore.
Okay. If you are successful on May 17th, you are reelected to yet another term. What are your top priorities?
The top priorities is getting the well working up off of Pine Tree Drive. I mean, Old Pine Drive.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have another water tank up there on High Street. We do have the land up there. I mean, that's been, because I'm on the park committee also, and I made sure that the park has given us enough land so that we can have another water tank up there, so that when it comes to flushing and so forth, it makes it a lot easier, because you can shut and open gates and run the whole town off of one,
right,
and work the water with the other one. And it makes it much simpler. Plus the matter is you can have more flow, and by having more flow means you're going to clean the pipe better off.
What would you say to residents who may not always think about the water system until there's an issue or there's brown water?
They call up. and then they try to rectify it. And well, sometimes if you got it in the middle of the town, how you're going to clean water in the middle of the town when you got clean on the outside? You're going to disturb everything.
Right.
And that makes it even more difficult. That's why they do 2 flushings a year. They do it springtime and they do it fall. And I don't know whether they can do the whole town or not, but my previous employment in Hanover, we used to do it twice a year. And it made it a lot easier because of the fact that you're moving more water. See, people don't realize the water doesn't move through the pipe. When you see a fire hydrant open, the water's gushing out, right?
Pressure.
Well, the pressure's pushing it out.
Yeah.
When you shut that up, the water's not moving in that line. Now, these pumps that are pumping the water have to build up the pressure to overcome it so they can push it in the line. So in other words, if the pump is here and 3 miles away is the water tank, well, I mean, no, it's probably a mile away, there's no water going into the tank necessarily because of the fact that the pressure here has to be the same over here, all over the 4 corners of the town in order for the water to go into the tank. And a lot of people think the water just runs in the tank and then you got the pressure. Well, you don't have it because it moves very slowly from the pumps into the pipe, and very slowly, and the pressure has to increase throughout the whole town. It can't just do in one line. And then so what I mean is the water could be in there for a couple weeks and not move far. You know what I mean? It's a very difficult situation. It really is.
You mentioned about the need for a second water tank, knowing that the town right now is looking at a $3 million override for their fiscal 26 budget. Do you foresee the town wanting to do a debt exclusion to take on such an endeavor?
That's one thing that's the water and money is separate from the rest of the town.
Okay.
They can't touch it. And it's a good thing because if you had to use the water from the water money, you'd never get anything done in the water department.
So are you saying that there's a possibility that there are financial resources within the water department?
Well, you have
to plan out feasibility study and then construct another water tank?
I talked to Todd it's 5-6 years ago. He used to be the accountant. He was very good, and he found a thing in his little book there that we, as the water department, can get bonds from the federal government as long as it's for water.
Yeah.
For loans. And back then when I was working with him, and we had a rough bid on a tank, it was $4 million, but we could get a bond on it for 30 years.
Yeah.
So in other words, that's something we could afford. You could put up the tank, get the money and bond it, and pay for it. And not interfere with any other money that we're using to try to do the infrastructure of the water department.
Okay. Let's kind of start wrapping things up here. Is there something I haven't asked you in regards to your run for re-election to the Water Commission? Maybe it's a question I haven't asked you. Maybe there's a subject that we haven't touched upon or an item that you want to take moments to share with the viewers before we sign off.
No, really. A lot of people look at me, and I'm an old man. I'm the 88 tomorrow. And they think an old man sometimes shouldn't be doing this. Well, I can see things that should be done in the water department, and it's hard for me to transfer it to it because of that fact. And whether or not I get in, I do not know. I'd like to just for 3 more years. I'll be 90 years old, and it's something for me to do. I've only got one eye, and the other one is blurry. I can see your face today because the sun's on it, and that's good. But as far as reading a paper or anything like that, I have a magnifier inside that takes me a day to read a paper if you want to know the truth, and it's very difficult with what I was capable of doing 10 years ago. No, actually 10 years ago. Yeah, my eye started going on me in 2015, so that's been what, 15 years.
But should folks discount your passion for the water system?
I'm hoping they will. Okay. Now, whether or not they will or not, I do not know.
All right. Well, right now is your chance to tell folks why they should vote for you. Give you another term come May 17th.
Okay, well, I'm very interested in water, as you can see. I have been all my life, and I try to keep up with it. A lot of times, I shouldn't say it, but people don't like to talk to me in the water department. Let's put it that way. And it's too bad they don't. I do have a journeyman's sprinkler license, and I've been trying to, and we had a new commissioner a year ago. I've tried to have him come down to my house because I want to talk to him, but for some reason, he won't come down and talk with me. And I'd like to have him come down and sit down and talk with me, because there's a lot of information that I could give the new commissioner in his process of being a commissioner. And that would help me out too, and I'm conscious. So, okay.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
You got it. And we want to thank you for tuning into a program like Conversations with the Candidates. Again, the idea is to have you get you a better understanding of each candidate before you make those decisions come May 17th, whether you're voting in Whitman or in Hanson. If you're not sure as to your status, how to vote, where to vote, contact the town clerk's office. It's very easy. And until our next conversation, have a great day.